your name's John, why do you go by Jack? And I said, it's easier to spell.
Got clutter piling up? FM Junket in Carson, Iowa is your hometown cleanup crew. Fast hauling, fair prices, and now easy dumpster rentals for DIY cleanouts. Your single items to full-on messes, FM Junket gets it done. Call today and breathe a little easier. Hi, welcome to Still Serving Iowa Veterans. Yesterday, Darlene and I had the opportunity to go to Dow City to visit a Veterans Resource Fair. This resource fair was sponsored by Crawford County, Shelby County, and Harrison County Veterans Affairs offices, and it was amazing. There were so many resources there for veterans, and we had the opportunity to visit with an amazing veteran, Navy veteran by the name of John H. Ahart. John has been involved in so much through his affiliation with the military. He's been in situation rooms and been right in Washington, D.C. in the middle of a lot of things that have gone on in our history, our military history, and the history of our country. Darlene had an opportunity to sit down and speak with him, and he was just eloquent in telling his story. So hope you'll just sit back and enjoy the interview with John H. Ahart, who goes by Jack.
Good afternoon. I'm Darlene McMartin, and we are here at the Veterans Outreach event in Dow City, Iowa, at the Brazil American Legion Hall, post 422.
444.
444. Whoa. Okay, I was way off.
Well,
444. And I'm here with Jack
yeah,
to discuss just some things that he did while he was in the Navy. And I know that because he proudly wears his Navy shirt after 28 years of service. And we're just going to kind of give it a little interview and let him tell kind of how he ended up with Jack, because that's not his name. That's really not his name.
it was my great-grandfather's name,
Okay.
so that's how I got it.
But it's not Jack on your birth certificate or on your
No,
DD 214.
It's John on my legal name's John Lewis Ahart, but I've always been called Jack. And one day a lady asked me, said, well, your name's John, why do you go by Jack? And I said, it's easier to spell.
But you were talking earlier a little bit about how your call sign became
Right.
that way.
Well, when you're flying, all the pilots get, the air crew actually get call signs. Mine was Smiling Jack.
Oh,
And I was,
I can see that.
yeah, well, that's why I was, well, yeah, I like to smile. I'm usually pretty happy. And then I found out later, no, you can't give yourself a call sign.
Oh.
Somebody else has to give it to you. And my first squadron commanding officer gave it to me. And as I was leaving the squadron, you go in and get what's called a debrief on, good luck in your next assignment and thanks for what you've done or didn't do.
Yeah.
And he said, do you know why I called you, gave you a call sign of Smiling Jack? And I said, I always figured because I enjoy smiling. He says, no, in 1940s, there was a comic strip called Smiling Jack, and it was about a pilot that was always in trouble.
So it wasn't appropriate for what you thought.
Yeah. I thought,
least
oh
you got
yeah,
this-
great. Oh,
Thanks.
whoops.
So apparently you earned it rightly.
I didn't. Then as I got
Uh-huh.
more senior, probably my last 3 years, everybody called me Captain Jack.
Captain Jack. Oh, well, that has a different connotation nowadays with
and-
Captain Jack.
Yeah, and still do.
You still do. Well, good. Well, you served 28 years in the Navy,
Yes, ma'am.
and you were originally from Dove City.
Correct. Yeah,
So,
I was born here, went through the through the first grade here, moved to Council Bluffs,
okay.
came back, moved to Council Bluffs, came back for my 4 years of high school here.
Okay.
And then when I graduated, I went to college in Wayne State,
Okay.
Wayne, Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
And from Wayne, I really didn't know what I wanted to do, but Vietnam was on then. I had no problems with military at all, but I, as a college student and high school student, I was a fan of John F. Kennedy's,
Okay.
and he had started the Peace Corps. So I was accepted for the Peace Corps and was sent to Caracas, Venezuela,
Oh, wow.
and helped to start the YMCA program.
What an experience as a young man.
It really was. Yeah, in fact, my students were my age, 22, 21, 22,
Wow.
because they were going to become the leaders of their YMCAs in their villages and
Oh,
and
my gosh.
towns.
What an awesome experience.
And as an aside, a number of years later, my wife and I were on a trip and ended up going back down to Venezuela.
Okay.
And so we were there, and I said, "Oh, we were in Caracas. Let's just go see how the Y is doing." It was a 20-story building. They had 3 soccer fields, 2 baseball fields, a basketball court, swimming pool, which was being built when I was there.
Mm-hmm.
And the head of that YMCA had been one of my students.
Oh, wonderful.
It was just, I
You
mean,
were a good mentor then.
oh,
Yeah.
he felt so proud.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I said, how are you doing on, people that use the Y? And he says, well, right now we're probably at about 25,000.
Oh my gosh.
25,000 kids.
Have gone through that.
And when I was down there teaching, they were doing the sawdust here, and you had to brush it off the desk to sit down, put your papers down to breathe, to teach. Anyway, finished my first year at Peace Corps was 2 years. Finished my first year, and being a good Iowa draft board,
Yeah.
uh,
Oh, you got drafted.
got drafted.
Got your papers. It's time
Yeah.
to go.
I had no problems. I would have liked to have stayed another year because I enjoyed what I was doing. But I got back here on a Saturday night. On Tuesday, I was supposed to go to the Army recruiter, and they were going to give me a physical, and our group, I'm sure it was a group, then send us to Fort Lewis in
Fort Lewis, in
Washington,
Yep.
Washington
Yep.
D.C.
No, Washington.
And-
Yep.
And again, I had no problems at all with the military, but I just didn't think I looked good in green.
You like that blue.
Well, either Air Force or Navy,
Yeah.
And as a lot of guys have said, I went up to see the recruiters, and the Navy guy was the only guy in his office.
So it was a calling.
It was a
Yeah.
calling, but the problem was, he said, right now we're pretty backed up on officers.
Yeah.
So I don't think I can get you into an officer program. And I knew if he couldn't, then I was definitely going to the Army, because I wasn't hey, excuse me, I'm waiting for the Navy. Nice try.
Yeah.
So I joined, enlisted.
Oh,
He said, oh, you'll be in the officer program in no time. 3.5 years later,
oh.
but it was a good
Yeah.
time. I enjoyed
Yeah.
my time as enlisted. While I was enlisted, I was a combat search and rescue crewman, air crewman. Challenging but interesting.
Hmm.
And then I got selected for the officer program, went to officer training in Pensacola, Florida, got my commission, and then went through flight training, got my wings of gold,
Cool.
and went to San Diego, California, to North Island in
Mm-hmm.
San Diego. Was in a squadron there, finished that tour, and in that tour made the aircraft I was flying was called the S-3A Viking, some multi-purpose jet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Louise keeps saying he's a fighter pilot. I said, Louise, I wasn't a fighter pilot. We were multi-purpose. We dropped torpedoes. We could
You
blow,
did everything.
we
Yeah.
we could blow ships out of the air. We could blow airplanes out of the sky. You know, we dropped bombs, and we did pretty much all of that. But we made the first deployment with the S-3A, along with the F-14's first deployment
Oh, wow.
on the John F. Kennedy.
Oh.
Here I am with my Kennedy
There you go.
fan to the Mediterranean. Came back, completed my tour, was selected then to be a flight instructor. And so I was a flight instructor for the S3. Again, a lot of fun, a lot of challenges
Yeah.
at times,
Always, always.
but
Yeah.
again, finished that tour and was selected as an admiral's aide in the Philippines, and went over and was an aide to an admiral, Admiral Tissot. He was switching out, and the new admiral that came in, Admiral Kirksey, decided to take a chance and keep me. So I was then his aide.
Mm-hmm.
Finished my tour there and was selected to be a foreign exchange officer in Montevideo, Uruguay, South America.
Oh, wow.
And I attended their Naval War College, and the entire course was in Spanish.
Oh, my goodness.
So it was fun.
So you're very fluent then in
Well,
Spanish.
I was.
You was. So you haven't used it in a while.
Yeah,
But
that's-
it probably would come back in.
I pretty well survive in a Mexican restaurant.
There you go. Good.
Finished my assignment in Montevideo and went back to North Island and went for what we call my department head tour. I was now a lieutenant commander,
Cool.
and so I was a department head in the squadron, first as the administration officer and then as the maintenance officer. With that, in that squadron, we again made an around the world cruise. We went and boarded the Carl Vincent in Norfolk, Virginia, and went to the Mediterranean, down around Africa,
Oh, my.
Australia, Singapore, Hong Kong, Korea, Japan, Hawaii, and home.
Uh-huh.
And from that tour, I was assigned to the Pentagon,
Oh, my.
working for the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and I was a operational briefer for the Secretary of Defense. And so you've always got these little anecdotes. My very first briefing for the Secretary of Defense, you come into the briefing room and here's probably 20 admirals, you know, from 1 stars to 4 stars, a few staff personnel, and then in comes the chairman, Chairman Weinberger, not chairman, secretary, I'm sorry, Secretary of Defense. Shook his hand, said, welcome, Mr. Secretary, and he took his seat, and here's the podium. And so I get behind the podium. Well, I'd spent hours, obviously, putting this brief together, and behind me was a screen the size of a wall in a house, huge. and they'd show as I would say something, they'd pop up a picture of ships floating in the ocean, or aircraft flying, or troops ashore, or whatever it was, I was briefing on. And I get behind the podium, look down, and there's a sign that says, "Podium broken."
Oh no.
It's my very first brief, and I thought, I'm dead. They're just going to shoot me.
Firing squad time.
But I had, like I said, I had spent a good 8 to 10 hours preparing it.
Oh gosh.
So I said, all right. So I just walked over in the walls here, and I said, today in the 7th Fleet, and as I go like that, the ships would pop up.
Yeah.
We have these things going on. In Korea, we had this incident 2 days ago. We have an incident, had an incident in the Indian Ocean with a Russian ship. And, you just kind of walk my way through it.
You adapted and overcame to the situation, and boy,
Your heart's going,
sweat.
So when it was over with,
Yeah.
I asked any questions, and I got a few questions, and I was luckily able to answer them. And as we got ready to leave, the secretary came, it was leaving, and he shook my hand and says, "Son, that is the best brief I've ever had. Keep it up."
Oh, all my other work. Forget it. Ain't doing that again.
No, all my briefs were that way. from
That's
now on.
right. I'm
Yeah.
not going to do what I did trying to prep for this one.
But you still had to prep, or you wouldn't know it.
Not that. Yeah.
But it would have been a lot easier to look at it and see a picture.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome.
But it was a good tour with the chairman. Also, part of my duties there, I was a social escort at the White House, which was fun. But we pretty much were only used when they had the formal dinners, because we'd be there in our
Attire.
attire,
Yeah.
and people would come in, you kind of direct them around
Uh-huh.
where their tables were or whatever. And my thrill then was, it was one night that there were some people that were coming in for the dinner, and their flight got canceled. So all of a sudden there were like 10 or 12 empty seats. So they came around to all the escorts and said, "You're sitting here, you're sitting there, you're sitting there."
Got to fill up those
You know,
spots.
fill up, and so the table I was at, right here where you are, was Sally Ride.
Oh my God.
And across from the table was Henry Kissinger.
Oh,
Yeah, and
what an experience.
I'm this
I'm just
30-year-old guy, and going, and they're looking at me like, "What's it like to land on a carrier? Don't talk to me. I want to talk to you."
What's it like to be up in a spaceship? Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Jeepers. But they were just normal, nice people,
Yeah.
as was everyone else at the table.
Wow.
While I was in that job, screening board for commander came, and I was screened what we call a year early. So I
Snuck in.
snuck in, and because I was now screened for commander, they also then screened me for command of my own jet squadron.
Oh my.
So I had, when I
And
left,
you were young. You were
Yeah.
in the 30s.
at that time, I may have been, about 38.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still in your 30s,
Yeah.
but still young. And look at what you accomplished so far.
And so I was, when I finished the tour, I went back and got requalified in the aircraft, and then took over as the executive officer, and then what we call fleet up to the commanding officer, in a squadron in Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay.
I said, wait a minute. I had 2 tours and 2 deployments, what we call Westpac, Western Pacific, and I knew every bar in the area, and they send me to Florida. But had a super time. Deployed again on this time it was on the again on the Carl Vinson. Made a Mediterranean cruise. Great time, I don't care what they say. It's not a lot of sweat at times, but being the commanding officer, you can't beat it.
Yeah.
It's a great feeling. Um,
Boy, it sounds like you really enjoyed your military
I
career.
did. I loved it.
Yeah.
I said we didn't have the heart to tell the Navy we'd have paid them to let us fly out on and off the carrier. I said, where else can you go from dead stop to 160 miles an hour in 3 seconds?
Ah,
Yeah.
and see the world and see the world.
Yes.
You did.
I'll hit it when I get to that point, but you really did get to see a lot of things, and a lot of times they people have a tendency to forget that we were in peacetime, and in my career I made 5 deployments on aircraft carriers, various places,
Mhm.
and I only had one deployment that we didn't lose somebody, and that's peacetime.
Oh, wow.
So uh, it's challenging,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
the camaraderie,
Oh,
friendships you make,
yeah. Yes.
the people you meet overseas,
Yep.
if someone is in high school or just junior year of college and say, I don't know what I want to do. Boy, it is a great career.
Mhm.
I mean, like I said, if anybody would have told me, a little farm boy from Dow City had had a chance to do all these things, I'd have told them they were nuts.
All the experiences that you did. Yeah. Yeah.
So
you're in Florida now.
yep, I'm in
Okay.
Florida. Had command of my squadron, gave up command, in Naples, Italy, and some of the perks that go with it. My wife flew over for the change of command, and then took what we call leave or vacation,
Mm-hmm.
and we
Toured.
went all up down to the French coast, ended up in Barcelona and in Spain, and she's a retired flight attendant.
Oh.
So she said, well, we'll just, go hop on a airline and
Yeah.
just fly back. And just, oh, let's have fun. Let's go. So we went down to Rota, Spain, where the Navy base was, and you could fly out of there free
Right.
on military aircraft. And so we get down there, and we got there as a regular airliner type
Mhm.
thing, but for military. And so, well, that's not so bad. And they came in and said, sorry, sir, but the midshipmen are coming back off their summer cruises and they have to get back to the academy, so the plane's full.
Mm-hmm.
But we have another one going out tomorrow. Okay. So we went out and visited the town, watched the flamingo dancers and things you can do. And next morning we go back out there, and it was a C-130, which is much smaller
Oh, yeah.
and prop, not jet, and cargo full. She never let me forget it.
Especially being a stewardess, she's used to a little bit more
If it-
accommodations.
well, we had 2 seats next to each other. Turns out I knew the pilot, so I was up talking to him. I come back, she's laid out in both seats. So I basically walked across the Atlantic. Anyway, we're leaving the squadron, back to the Pentagon. This time I worked for the Chief of Naval Operations, and I was his South American liaison officer, Central and South America. So I visited every one of those countries,
Wow.
for the Navy, and was able to do things like I was able to get a ship for Brazil, one of our older ones,
Mhm.
and I was able to work out some trips to the U.S. for some of the war college people.
Mhm.
But you also got, because you were there with the Navy Net, you get treated pretty well.
Yeah, I bet you at your level,
Yeah.
you did.
So
Yeah.
upon finishing the tour at the Pentagon, and it's kind of bad. I usually don't want to tell people this, but normally a tour at the Pentagon's 3 years.
Mhm.
Well, the first time, remember, I screened a year early.
Yeah.
I was there 1 year and gone.
Right.
This time, at the end of the first year, I was selected for a Navy Federal Executive Fellowship. The Navy selects 10 a year,
Mm-hmm.
10 people a year, and they go to the various think tanks. So I was sent to the RAND Corporation in Santa Monica, which is considered basically the #1 think tank in the world. And I said, after a while, I said, well, I know why they call it a think tank. Because every 10 minutes, somebody called me up and say, what do you think?
Oh, yeah.
But it was fun. While I was there, I was able to write a book that they published.
Oh,
And
what's the name of the book?
oh,
Military?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
it-
That's
it-
probably way over my head.
it was on the air interdiction in the drug war.
Oh.
Uh, and I'll tell you another story. Of that, when we were going from the War College or from Naval or fellowship, from the fellowship.
Mm-hmm.
Another good story, just as it was when I was sitting with Sally Ride.
Mm-hmm.
They had an aviation I guess you'd call it a dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the guys that ran said, you're an aviator, why don't you go? I said, well, I don't know anything about it. And he said, I'll take care of it. So he got me a ticket. So I go to this dinner and I walk in and, obviously
Big
pretty
people.
much, well, pretty much the youngest guy there, or
Uh-huh.
close to it, and shaking hands and all that. And they said, well, your table's over there, sir. I said, okay. Went over and sat down, and at my table, Pappy Boynton and Charles Yeager.
Oh.
Oh, you talk about a kid in a candy store. Oh, and it was fun because they kept
Battering
back
back. Yeah.
and forth all night,
Uh-huh.
and then it got kind of switched over. Well, what's it like with modern day landing on the carriers, vice, the World War II ones? But again, I was about 2 feet off the ground the next week,
Yeah.
just walking around. I'd like to meet them.
Yeah.
From the fellowship, I got selected to be the chief of staff for a carrier group out of Norfolk, Virginia. And at the time, they had sent me to Fallon, Nevada for a air-to-air combat
Mm-hmm.
training. And I get a phone call from my wife, and she says, oh, I'm packing your sea bag. And I said, why? She says, you'll find out. And I'm serious. Within 30 minutes, I get a call from the Admiral staff. Pack your bags. You need to be in Norfolk in 2 days. Fly out to the carrier. We're headed to Desert Storm or Desert Shield.
Yeah. Oh.
And so we went over, flew out and went to Desert Shield, Desert Storm. And I was the chief of staff for operations, so I basically directed all the airstrikes and Tomahawk strikes from the Red Sea, which is where we were. And then Desert Storm ended. We came back home, and we got selected
Mhm.
to go down and ride the Navy ships in the Caribbean chasing the druggies.
Ah.
And the Admiral said, yeah, I'm a little tired. Something that you go down and run it. Well, I was a captain then. And as a captain, if you're filling an admiral's billet, then you're called Commodore.
Okay.
So
You had some nice titles all
it
your
was
service.
it was
Yeah.
fun. Well, the first one we went on, we ended up flying down to Key West and got a brief on kind of how the operations were going. And this guy, our instructor, was talking. He says, if you get a chance, I'll give you one to read. If you get a chance, read this book. It really gives you an insight into how the interdiction system works. It was a book I wrote. I said, yeah, I think I've read this one.
They didn't pay attention to the author very well, did they, when
No.
they gave it to you?
So we went down and
Oh, wow.
did drug ops for 6 weeks, back to Norfolk and for a while, and went back down. So I did three times I did that.
Mm.
And then was set, while I was doing that, I got selected for command of my own ship. But I also had to take an annual flight physical because you had to keep it up regardless.
Mm-hmm.
And when they did, they found out that I had AFib.
Oh, no.
And so I ended up getting a medical discharge, but it was interesting. I thought, okay, I'm out. And he said, oh no, we want to test you for a while to see, is there a way we can flip you back in or what we can do? So they sent me to the Naval War College in Newport, Rhode Island. And so I got my second one. I got my third master's, and
Wow.
ended up with finishing the War College, and they still were trying to
Keep you in.
yeah, see what they could do. They didn't want me
Yeah.
to go, and I said, hey, I'll go be an attaché somewhere,
Yeah.
foreign country. And he said, no, we want to be where we can monitor you. So I ended up staying at the War College as a professor. And the War College is in trimesters. So you taught for 2 trimesters. In the 3rd trimester, then you had to write something. And so the first trimester, I wrote a couple articles on things going on in the U.S. They put together, and then the students would have to read it and discern kind of what the situation was.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my second year, they said, we've got enough other people. What we want you to do is we want you to go down and give presentations to the various war colleges in South America. Okay, so I went down and gave a presentation to the Argentine War College. And while I was there, contacted by the Uruguayan Navy, asked if I could come over to see them. And it turned out we could. And there's a boat. It was called the Buki boat. It went from Buenos Aires to Montevideo across the Rio Plata. And it was about a 20-hour ride. So we get to Montevideo, and one of my classmates came aboard, took care of us, took us to the hotel, got us set up and everything. He said, well, we have a meeting tomorrow with the admiral. Can you make it? I thought, what else am I supposed to do? And you invited me. So we went to the presentation, and they presented me with the Pedro Campbell Medal, which is basically would be our equivalent to the Freedom Medal of Honor.
Okay. Medal of
Yeah,
Honor.
yeah,
recipient.
but
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Back to Buenos Aires, and then I was to go to Caracas to give a presentation to the War College there at the University of Caracas, because that's where I taught part of my classes.
Right.
And gave the presentation. I said my wife and I went and saw the YMCA and had a good time. Back to the States, did one more year at the War College. They said, we can't flip you. We tried,
Yep.
so I retired. And my wife, I said, was a flight attendant. She was, at that time when we were in Newport, she would drive from Newport to Providence, fly to Charlotte, North Carolina, then go to work.
Oh my.
So the decision was, I've followed you all over the world, dear. Guess what? We're moving to Charlotte.
Okay.
So moved to Charlotte, and kind of started my second career from there, doing a lot of things. But as far as the military goes, I I thoroughly had a ball. I thoroughly had a ball. We ended up, before we came back to here, we lived in Dubai for 12 years, and I was asked to be the uh, graduation
Speaker.
speaker.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, I have no clue, what to talk to these kids about. It was the American school. Well, in order to graduate from that school, you had to be fluent in reading, writing, and speaking 3 languages.
Oh,
Only one could be English. I mean, well, it is only one
Right.
English. I mean, English
Right.
could be one of them, but the other 2 had to be something else.
wow, these
know,
children were very
oh.
highly educated then.
There were, it was, and again, you're talking, most of them were the kids of American businesses, and their father or mothers were there, or
Wow.
embassy or whatever. And there were only 25 in the class. All 25 had full ride scholarships, and they were all academic.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant students.
Just, and then you come back here and people are failing English. You say, well, what are we doing wrong?
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm trying to think what to say. So I pulled out a map, put it on the table, and started looking around. I said, have a bunch of stick pins. So I started putting stick pins to all the places I had been.
Uh-huh.
Now, this would have been in 2013, maybe 12, 13.
Okay.
And at that time, I had been to 71 countries in the world.
My goodness.
And between being the Admiral's aide and other things, just met people.
You joined the military to see the world, and you sure did it. You
Oh.
did exactly what you
That's why I said
wanted to do.
for these young men and women,
Yeah.
oh,
Make it a career and
even if you don't want to make it
Yeah.
a career. I mean,
But just
there was a
things.
guy that was with, was a squadron mate, I think of my second squadron. No, my third squadron. And he did he used to have to do 6 years if you were a pilot. And he got out and he had a business degree. Last time I talked to him, which is probably about 3 or 4 years ago, he was a multimillionaire.
yeah.
But obviously his knowledge of financing that is what did it. But he said the biggest thing that did it was getting to know the people, the camaraderie, taking care of your people.
That's right.
Being honest, the integrity, all the things you learn in the military. And he said, I don't know how I kept getting advanced, but I did.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. I'm thinking, in all honesty, 28 years, I don't think I know a single military person that I knew personally that was ever in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
You
did it. You chose the right path.
Yeah.
And then you came back to Dow City, Iowa, and you're spreading the wealth by doing resource fairs for other veterans and encourage them to.
We do a lot of things.
Yeah.
And with the Legion Post here, we do Memorial Day at the cemetery with the program and taps and firing 21 gun salute. We handle all veteran funerals. We give 2 $500 scholarships to graduating seniors for trade school, college, whatever it is that they want. We've made donations to community club and other places. And in the fall, in Memorial Day weekend, we have a pancake breakfast, and those proceeds go to for the scholarships and other things we do. In the fall, for Veterans Day, We do soup and sandwich supper. Usually have a raffle,
Mm-hmm.
and the same way both events are usually packed.
Yeah.
And
But it's community involvement, it's the
yes,
camaraderie. And that's why if you welcome anyone, any veteran to come in and be part of that camaraderie.
yeah,
Because if they served in the army, which I did, it doesn't matter.
oh
The
no,
military is the military, and you
absolutely,
know what it took for that person to be involved.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
I mean, um, the other side of it for people that are maybe thinking about it
Hmm.
is there are so many benefits for being a veteran that a lot of people don't know about.
Correct. And that's why these resource fairs are
Very-
very important,
Exactly.
because then you can talk to somebody that knows what's available out there
Mhm.
for them as a veteran. Because when you get out, you just, oh, I'm time to go home, I'm done.
Yep.
But there are so many things in the
Mm.
state of Iowa and in the federal level and
Yeah,
the
the
county
things,
level.
things you can do.
Yeah.
You know, my wife and I have probably stayed in 3 or 4 lodges on bases
Mm-hmm.
over our
As a
time.
retiree, yeah.
Our daughter went to the Naval Academy, and
Wow.
when we go visit them, there's rooms there for
Billeting, yep,
billeting
yep,
there.
yep.
We've had uh, some special events, music events, and we were given free tickets.
Mm-hmm.
We used to be able to go to Disney World. We were in Florida then. If you're in the military, just show your ID card, you got in for free.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff is still there, still available.
You just
Ins-
got to reach out and
Yeah.
ask.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
things you don't think of. Car insurance,
Mhm.
house insurance, home insurance.
GI Bill to go
G-
to school
GI
if
Bill.
you wanted
Yeah, I
to.
mean,
Yeah.
I got my
You got your you got 3 master's degree on the military.
yeah. The first one I used my GI Bill, got an MBA. And then in South America, we got a master's degree in international relations, and then my last one was in national security,
See.
and the military covered them all. Um,
So there's a lot of perks to
Oh, there
joining the
are
military,
a
a
lot
lot
of-
of perks being a veteran.
Yep.
And that's why we're here today, just to kind of go through what services are out there and available to them. And we thank you very much for telling us your story.
Oh,
We appreciate that from small town Iowa.
Yeah.
That's where I was from, the Woodbine area, so
Yeah.
I kind of know.
Oh, we
the
always
small
played
town.
in ball.
Yes, you did.
Um,
A lot of football games played with Dow City. Yeah.
yeah, I would just simply say, for anyone thinking about going into the military, check it out. You may say, "Oh, I really don't want to do it. I want to give 4 years of my life up." If you don't, uh, what are you going to do with those 4 years?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
for example, there's a couple stories, if I may. Uh, there was a gentleman from Denison. From high school, he went to a trade school,
Mm-hmm.
and as a electrician, got a job and was doing quite well. Another guy who was a son of friends went in the Navy, was trained as an electrician in the Navy, um, did his 4 years and got out, and as happenstance would have it, ended up getting hired by the same company.
Okay.
The guy from the Navy started at $10,000 a month, not a month, a year, higher
Yeah.
because of his Navy training
The skills.
compared to trade school. Trade school is a very good school,
Right.
you know, but
Plus, you had to pay for it, and the
yeah,
Navy trained him.
trained him,
Yeah.
you know, and one of the things that the Navy guy Chad said, when I was talking to him about it, I said, anybody can work on electricity if they understand it,
Uh-huh.
but doing it on a pitching deck in the middle of the night,
Yeah.
you know,
You're learning different skills, I'll guarantee you.
different skills.
Yeah.
He said,
Yeah.
if you can handle that pressure, you can handle anything we have.
There you go. There you go.
So I would say you're going to come out ahead
Yeah.
if you pick the military.
Yeah. Well, if you have any inclination of attending any of the outreach activities and stuff in this area, May 12th, they're going to have a community outreach in Deloitte. June 17th, the Van Wall are sponsoring veteran program in Denison. And on July 21st, the Veterans Day at the Crawford County Fair will be celebrated. So if you're in this area and you're a veteran, come on down. They would love to tell their stories. Thank you very much, Jack. I
You're
appreciate it.
welcome.
Thank you, Jack, so much for sitting down with Darlene to talk about your military history. You are a true Iowa hero, and we're so proud to have had this time with you today. Thank you for joining us here on Still Serving Iowa Veterans, and we will see you next week.